My friends, this is Dr. B, the best doctor in medicine. 30 plus years of clinical experience in medicine. Today, Dr. B wants to tell you the number one reason why here in the United States of America, right, our healthcare system is going down the drain at a very fast pace, and why it's gonna get worse and worse and worse over the years to come, over the decades to come. Why is it that our healthcare system started to go down the drain about 20 years ago, and why it's gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse? Dr. B immigrated to America many years ago. I have a biracial, bicultural background, Middle Eastern and French. So I lived in both countries, in the Middle East, Iran, and in France, in Europe, France, Paris, and other cities, Italy, Spain. Then I lived in Canada before coming to the United States many years ago. I passed on my board exam, blah, blah, blah. And currently working in California. I live in the beautiful but expensive city of Mountain View, California. And I have seen with my own eyes the healthcare system in Europe, everywhere in Europe, going down the drain, right? And the healthcare system in Canada going down the drain, and the healthcare system in America going down the drain. And believe it or not, it's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Do you think that in a few years things gonna improve, that in 10 years things are gonna get better? Of course not. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse. And the number one reason for this, the number one reason, whether it is Europe or America, it is overpopulation. There is just too many people to feed, too many people to house, too many people to take care of, too many people to find jobs for, too many mental health disorders to take care of, too many surgeries to do, as the population, of course, is aging. There is just too many people to take care of, too many people to give healthcare insurance to give good healthcare from the cradle to the grave. It's just too many people. Whether you look at Europe, globally, the 27 European countries, European nations, or you look at Canada, or you look at the US, all these countries are going down the drain when it comes to their health care. And the number one reason is, again, overpopulation. There's just too many people that the elite, right, the billionaires and millionaires who are ruling Europe, who are ruling Canada, who are ruling United States of America, and who keep bringing millions and millions and millions of poor refugees, right, to Europe, to Canada, and to the United States. It's a massive, massive amount of people to take care of, and we just do not have the money. We do not have the resources. Just think about it. The United States of America, we are almost 350 million people. Right now, July 2025. In about 10 years, we're going to be 400 million people. Can anybody believe that we can give good state-of-the-art healthcare to 350 million people today, and in 10 years, 400 million people, from the cradle to the grave, and covering everybody and giving them good access to healthcare, good doctor, good preventions, eye care, ear care, dental care, surgeries, medicine. It's just not going to happen because there are two people on the boat, on the ship. And at what time do you tell the captain of the ship, the captain of the boat, "Sir, dear captain, there's just too many passengers on the ship. There's too many passengers on the boat. It's gonna start to sink. It has already started to tip on its side or on the other side, right? It is starting to sink." At what time do people start to realize that when you bring too many people that you cannot afford to take care of, to house, to feed, you just cannot afford it because we don't have the money, we don't have the space, right? Remember, we are, as of July 2025, almost now $39 trillion in debt. The federal government in Washington, $39 trillion in debt. Every state of our union, especially blue states like California, right? New York, Illinois, Wisconsin, they are in the red. They have a massive amount of debt and deficit, right? Just come visit California and figure out the number of homeless sleeping in the parks, under the bridge, the number of drug addicts, the number of poor people, the number of people who sleep in their cars, in their RVs, right? There are millions of children who are sick, who don't have access to healthcare, who don't have access to food. There are lineups every weekend, every Wednesday at every church, every food bank to get free food because people cannot pay the bills. Millions of people in this state of California, which is supposed to be the fifth economy in the world, right? Millions of people in the fifth state, in the fifth economy in the world, right? Do not have access to healthcare, do not have access to food, living under the bridge, living in tents in freaking riversides and all these parks and everything. Millions of drug addicts and homeless, and it's crazy. And the reason is we don't have money to build affordable housing. The infrastructure is not made for millions and millions and millions of people. Just look at what's going on in Arizona. Look at Phoenix, right? The city of Phoenix, where my cousin lives. 10 years ago, the city of Phoenix was a heaven, right? As more people are escaping California and going towards or New York or Chicago or Wisconsin and going to Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona has become saturated. There is the infrastructures, the roads, right? The water supply, the electrical grid was not built for these millions and millions of people who are fleeing expensive high-tax states like California, New York, Wisconsin, Michigan, and of course the weather in the north and the crazy politics, right? They are escaping to come to go to Phoenix, Arizona and other cities in Arizona. And what are the findings? A massive increased cost of living, because there's just not enough hospitals, not enough homes, not enough water, not enough electricity. The roads are not built wide enough for these millions of people. Where are you going to build these homes, right? Are you going to build in the desert? So it's easy for the politicians in Sacramento, California to say we need more affordable housing. But who's going to pay for more affordable housing? Where are you going to build affordable housing? Build them in the desert? How are you going to feed those people living in the desert? How are you going to bring them water, right? Look at what's going on in many cities in the south, right? There's a huge amount of drought for all these people. The whole freaking water system, electrical grid, roads wasn't made for 350 million Americans. The more you populate a country, the more you become like India and China. Have you ever been to India and China? I have. Those are the two most populous countries on earth. They have 1.5 billion people. Massive amount of poverty, massive amount of pollution. You can't even see the sky, right, when you go to these countries, right? India, China, because too many people draining the natural resources. Too many people creates too much waste, too much pollution, right? The more you bring people in a country, the more you have to produce goods and food, and the more you have to recycle waste, and the more waste gets dumped into the rivers, and because there's just too many people. It is impossible for a country like China or India to house, to give food, to give health care, to give shelter, to give good health care to 1.5 billion people, right? That's why when you go to China and India, half of the more than half, 75% of the population lives in poverty. They are unhoused, and even if they are housed, they live in tiny little apartments. There's 2 families living together, everybody on top of each other, right? The rivers are polluted, the air is polluted, everywhere is like that, right? Because it's just not made for that. The captain needs to understand that the ship is full. And the captain in Europe, Canada, Australia, and America, the captain is the elite. Right? The elite, the billionaire and millionaire elite that keeps bringing millions and millions and millions of poor refugees, right, from the third world countries. When I came to America, I had to be fingerprinted. I waited 5 years in line. I had to be fingerprinted, right? They checked my background. They checked everything. I had to have a health check by a doctor before I was able to come here. Get a chest x-ray, tuberculosis, EKG, blah, blah, blah. The only part of my body that was not checked was my butthole. They checked everything in my body except my butthole. That's the only part they didn't check before I came to the United States of America, waiting 5 years. I had to prove that I have education. I have to prove that I have money in the bank to support myself. I have to prove that I have an employment that is waiting for me, a job offer waiting for me, right? But now it's not like that. This elite, whether it's from Europe that I left, thank God, many years ago, or Australia or Canada, Canada even worse, and the United States, now they keep bringing millions of people that are not vetted, that are not checked, that have absolutely no money to support themselves. Most of them, 90%, do not have education to be able to find a job. So they come here and they become a huge burden on the state, on the economy. We need to pay them housing, give education to their kid, give education to this, to that. They get free cell phone, free apartment, food stamp, money from the state, money from the federal government. It is crazy how many billions of dollars get paid to these immigrants who come to the United States, right? And of course, I am an immigrant myself, but as I said, I had to prove that I have education. I have to prove that I have money in the bank to support myself. I had to go through checks and balances, criminal background, and blah, 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 blah. But now it doesn't matter. You just say you're a refugee. You're a refugee. You have no money in the bank, no education, no job offer, no nothing. You just come here. They're going to give you a... I mean, it's crazy. They even give them free health care. I have to pay for my health care, right? I have to pay for my health insurance. But no, in California, they are giving free health care, taxpayer-funded health care to all these people who come and, oh, I cannot afford to pay my health. Okay, it's okay, the government will pay you. So they tax me at a huge, massive rate, and they pay affordable housing, blah, 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 to all these people that they bring by the millions, and by the millions. And this is all the elite. The same elite that is destroying Europe and its healthcare system has destroyed Canada, Australia, Europe, right, from which I fled, thank God. They are now destroying America. And they are doing it on purpose. It is not by incompetence that they are destroying our healthcare system. They are doing it because they know that this is the way they will stay in power. It's all for power and glory. Their thirst for power will make you do anything, right? So they are doing it for power because that's how they can stay in power forever. They are immune from the consequences of their own political decisions. All these political decisions that they shove down the throat of the middle class by bringing millions and millions of refugees to Western world, right? Whether Australia, America, Canada, Europe. They bring them so that they can get voters, they can stay in power, and they know that they are immune from the consequences of their Marxist, globalist agenda. That's what it entails. And the more you destroy the healthcare system, the more you can pit one group against the other, pit the doctors against the government against the doctor, the nurses against the doctor, the administrators at the hospital against the nurses, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Divide and conquer. Just look at what's going on in China. Right? Look at the healthcare system. Is a disaster. The hospitals are overwhelmed. You think here you have to wait 6 hours in the waiting room in California? You think it's too much? Go over there in China. You'll have to wait an entire week sleeping on the floor in the hallway before even one triage nurse comes to talk to you. Because there are millions of people. Their biggest city, their smallest cities have 10, 20 million people, right? In China, in India, right? This is more than the population of entire countries, right? The biggest cities in China, Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, blah, 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 they have 60, 80 million people. How can you provide food, housing, good access to healthcare, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 from the cradle to the grave to a city of 80 million people? How are you going to feed them? How do you house them? How do you give them preventive care, right? It is impossible. It is impossible. It's like having a parent, a couple, mom and dad, who are making average amount of income, and telling them you're going to have 30 children to feed and to house and to educate. How can a couple, unless they are billionaires or multimillionaires, how can they take care of 30 children? It's impossible, right? So now all these globalist, Marxist elite, they always cite the example of the Nordic countries, like Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway. They say, oh, look at their beautiful country. They have a beautiful national healthcare system that takes care of each and every one of their citizens from the cradle to the grave, and that is correct. But what they forget to tell you is that the country of Sweden, for instance, Sweden has only 11 million people to feed, to house, and to give health care to. The city of Denmark, Finland, Norway, all these countries have about only 6 million people. Think about that, right? So it's so easy to feed the population of a country of 6 million people to give them free healthcare, government sponsored this, government sponsored that, free housing, free this, free that, because there's only 6 million people, guys, in Norway, in Finland, and in Denmark. And in Sweden, there's only 11 million people. So compare that to the 350 million, and soon to be in 10 years, 400 million people that we have to feed, we have to house, we have to educate, we have to allow to travel from one place to the other, we have to allow to have health care from the cradle to the grave, not just access to health care, but good quality health care, right? So these globalist elite are able to brainwash the population in the United States of America, in Canada, in Australia, in Europe, by telling them, look at the example of the Nordic countries, right? Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland, look at them. They have the best health care. Look, zero pollution. Look, everybody has affordable housing, blah, blah, blah. That is absolutely correct, but they hide the fact that their population is extremely low. Only 6 million people for Norway, Finland, Denmark, right? And only 11 million people for Sweden. 11, 6. It's nothing, right? Any country can do that, right? Any country can feed, house, and educate and give free government-sponsored health care to 6 million people. What's the big deal about it, right? So that's how they are destroying the Western societies, because they are extremely well funded, they have extremely good money for their propaganda, they are extremely rich and powerful people, all these elite people, millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire people who are ruling Europe. The European Commission is full of these Marxist, Leninist, globalist elite, and same thing in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and here in the US. It's unbelievable. Guys, do not fall for this trap. Make sure you vote the correct way. Vote the correct way. Right? So that we can preserve our healthcare system. We have to preserve our healthcare system from the destruction that the left is causing. The left is destroying Western society, and one important part of their agenda is to destroy the healthcare system. The destruction of the healthcare system in Western societies is one of their many, many agendas. And they always tell you that, oh, we are the richest country on earth. No, we are not. I posted a video explaining to you why we are not the richest country on earth. We have the highest GDP, gross domestic product, but we are not the richest country on earth. If we were the richest country on earth, we wouldn't have 39 trillion, not billion, not million, but $1 trillion of national debt. If we were the richest country on earth, we wouldn't have 20 to 30% of our population living under the poverty wage. So many drug addicts, so many homeless veterans, so many homeless people, so many. I mean, it's crazy the amount of poverty that there is in the United States of America, right? Because and homelessness everywhere, not just in California. So we are not the richest country on earth. We have a $39 trillion national debt. Trillion, for God's sake. Do not get brainwashed by this elite in Western societies, Western countries who are brainwashing you, together with their bodies in the fake news media, who are brainwashing you and telling you that, you know what, we are the richest country on earth. We can afford to import more millions of refugees into this ship that is already sinking. Make sure you vote the correct way. Vote, vote, vote. Only your vote can make a difference. If you keep voting for the left is has destroyed already the entire Europe, from which I ran away many years ago, thank God, has destroyed Canada, from which I ran away before coming to the United States, and now I'm finding out about starting 20 years ago that the left is also destroying the America. The American dream is gone. The American dream is gone. They have destroyed the American dream, and now they are destroying the healthcare system that used to be so beautiful up to 20 years ago. They have destroyed it. And remember, it is all not by incompetence, but by design. They know these are extremely educated people. They are very smart. Karl Marx, right, was not an idiot. He knew exactly what he was doing. These are extremely smart people. All these Marxist Leninists are not dumb people. They are extremely educated people. They know what they are doing. They know how to destroy a society so that they can reign over the ashes and be constantly forever in power, because once again their policies do not impact them. They live in gated communities, gated mansions. They drive, they have bodyguards. They fly private jets all over the world. They have citizenships from dozens of different foreign countries. They have mansions and villas and Ferraris and Lamborghinis in dozens of different countries. These people are not do not pay allegiance to one country like the US or Canada. They have different passports. They have different allegiances to the world. Their allegiance is to the world. Just look at how these billionaires are buying second, third, fourth citizenships, right? From the Caribbeans, from Dubai, from Australia, from New Zealand. They have millions of dollars. For them, paying $500,000 to buy a citizenship from Portugal, or to buy a second passport from New Zealand, for them it's like pocket change, right? They don't care at all. Most of them have not one single home here in the mighty, beautiful United States of America, but they have mansions all over the world, and they fly from one mansion to the other with their different passports, and they enjoy this globalist agenda, and their goal is to be over this ash where people are fighting, pitting one religion against the other, one race against the other, one group against the other. That's what already happening in Europe. And that's why I left. They have destroyed everything. And now they are doing the same thing to America. So protect our healthcare system, what is left of it. Make sure you vote the correct way. Right now, July 2025. Right now, July 2025. We will have the midterm election next year in November 2026. Make sure you prepare, make sure you vote, and vote the right way so that we can preserve what is left of our beautiful healthcare system by avoiding this endless growth of our poor population. If you bring poverty, if you bring all the poverty from all over the world, then we're going to become like those poor countries that all these poor people are escaping. The United States of America has changed. We are no longer like we used to be in the early 19th century, where poor people would come from Europe and all over the world via Ellis Island, right? Those days, the population was very slim. There was only 30, 40, 50 million people, right? Most of the country was not even built, right? So those people, they tell you, those Marxist, Leninist, globalist people, they say, oh, look at the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty says we need to bring all the poor from all over the world, and we need to house them and feed them. It's written on the Statue of Liberty that the freaking French, France, where I lived for many years of my life, that the freaking French gave the United States of America. Look, it's written on the Statue of Liberty, we need to bring all the poverty of the world. But we are no longer in the 19th century. We are no longer the America of the time of the Ellis Island. The ship is full. There's no room anymore, right? In California, where I live, the American dream has been dead for the last 10 years. Impossible to buy a home. Impossible to buy an apartment. It's rush hour, 24 hours a day. Massive amount of poverty, massive amount of cost of living, right? The food is going higher and higher, gasoline, everything, the pollution. There's just too many people on the ship. Make sure you vote the correct way so that we can preserve what is left of our healthcare for the people who are here and for the next generation, your children, your great-grandchildren, and blah, blah, blah. We need to stop the overpopulation and overcrowding of the United States of America. We do not want to become China and India. Those of you who don't believe me, take a trip to China. Take a trip to India, go look at what happens when a country is overpopulated, and I'm sure you will change your mind. Dr. B graduated from medical school 30 plus years ago in the beautiful but long gone country of France, Paris, France. In Europe, I took the Hippocratic oath to never, ever, ever put my own benefit and interest above yours. I love you regardless of your gender, politics, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, independent, white, black, Caucasian, Muslim, atheist, Buddhist, Hinduist, Christian. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman. We need to preserve our health care. And I love you. I give you a big hug, whoever you are. And put your comments, your question down there. And God willing, we see each other in the next video. Bye-bye.